that door would have been ajar. Who's making direct eye contact with me right now? Oh, I guess it was ajar.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks for coming. Pleasure to be here with Eric. Eric, this could have been very fortuitous timing. You being here in New York during Super Bowl week, had your Kansas City Chiefs made the Super Bowl. Didn't work out so well.
No, my Kansas City Chiefs were beaten by the Indianapolis Colts. I was going to leave it open for me to stay, and didn't work out that way, so I could give a shit about the Super Bowl.
I had this vision of you in my head about halfway through the third quarter when your team was up 28 points, booking those tickets, getting everything all set up, and then throwing your computer against a wall.
Yeah, I actually heard I saw it in Arizona, and I had to listen to the last 2 minutes of the game on a radio in a taxi on my way to the airport because the game had been extended so long. So
applause, Modern Family, right?
Thank you. And 1/10 of the process.
I want to put you in my little time traveling DeLorean, if I may, for a second, and let's go back to before you were an actor, which I find fascinating. You were at K-State,
yep.
Right? Kansas State.
Yes.
Studying to be a prison administrator?
Yes.
Could you give us a little insight into that? How did you come across that?
Well, I was studying sociology when I went to college. I wasn't a good student in high school. Big shock. I was easily distracted. And when I went to college, my parents sort of gave me the good advice of just find something that's interesting. And I took a sociology class, and I found myself getting a B, which was about the best grade I'd ever had in my life. Lights out! You good to have just turned your lights out?
Watch a little too much Oz, maybe, or something along the way.
Yeah.
Before we go any further, I just want everyone to take out a pen or pencil, or take out your iPhone, and take out your notes program. And I found the best website you all need to go to. This is fantastic. It is the URL is ericstonestreet.com.
Oh my god.
This website...
It's like a time capsule.
It is not... Okay, this is Eric's website that has not been updated, and I'm not exaggerating, in 5 years. So it's pre-Modern Family, and it's the website of a scrappy go-getter who's just looking to get a break, and it's amazing. And what I love about it is that you have all your demo reels up there.
Yeah, oh, do I? We gotta get those down. Bobby! Lights out! Then get my demo reels down.
That going through it, you can see like it's one of those actors that we realize you've been in all these things that we've seen you in. You had tons of work, and I noticed that you played a lot of cops. Maybe that plays into the prison warden thing, but also a lot of bad guys, some nefarious characters as well.
Yeah, actually, like right leading up to Modern Family, I played like I think 3 or 4 killers on like different shows, and my mom at some point was like, "Why do they see you as the killer?" Like, well, I don't know. I guess you have a trustworthy face.
Too trustworthy.
And then
every CBS procedural, it seemed.
Yeah, that's. I feel like I'm going to break this chair. If I break this, yeah, is it disconnected? This is like playground, elementary school drama all over again. I used to have a tally of chairs I broke as a kid. Stop. Is that a dog? Is it really? It's making direct eye contact with me.
Takes good directions.
Yeah, I'm just fixing this.
You gonna do a little woodwork over there?
Yeah.
You fix that?
Oh, where is it? Okay. Can I just have your chair?
Oh, there.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just stand up.
Set.
All right,
there you go. Choose to stand. Now let's talk about one other audition, a job you didn't get. About a year ago, they put out these auditions for The Office.
Yeah.
On DVD, and there you showed up doing an audition for Kevin.
Yeah, I auditioned for The Office. I first auditioned for Steve Carell's part and went in and did my take on that. And then Allison Jones, the casting director, had me come back for this other part, and I tested for it. They were, because it wasn't one of the main parts of the show. They just job, but you better freaking do a good job. So I knew I had to do a good job, and I went in. I was so prepared, and afterwards, she took off her glasses and she said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "I'm from Kansas." She said, "How long have you been out here?" And I said, "Maybe 10 months at the time." She's like, "Well, you're very good. You're not going to get this part." I said, "Well, yeah, I can't imagine I'm going to get this part." And I said, "You know who should play this? Philip Seymour Hoffman." And she's like, yeah, that's who's going to play the part. But she said, I'd love for Cameron Crowe to meet you. So she brought me back in a few weeks later and had that audition. And just the scene, I'm Sheldon the desk clerk, if you watch the movie. It's a great, great movie, and it's an awesome... What is interesting about the way the character was described on paper is not too over the top, is how they wrote the character description that the actor gets in the breakdown. It says, the more passionate of the two, but not too over the top, maternal. So the trap there for me as an actor was, okay, well, how do I create a character that's not too over the top, yet in the pilot delivers a baby to the Lion King song with the spotlight and wearing an orange kimono? Like, how do I reconcile all of that? So that was sort of the trap from the beginning, and they had been casting for a long time, so I knew, because I couldn't at first get an audition for it, I couldn't get in to the room. So I knew they were having troubles finding the person to play this part, so that was to my advantage. I knew that, okay, well, people aren't getting it, so what are they missing here? So it's kind of like a little putting a puzzle together, figuring out what I needed to do. And then when I got the part and the show started, you know, I've done the character the exact same way from my first audition to my fourth audition to season 5. It's never changed, and I was mad. Now I was involved because it felt, you know, not personal, but I was emotionally invested. And then another 4 or 5 days went by, and then they called and they said, you know, they can't get Eric's audition out of their mind. They want to test him for the studio. So then I went to the studio. That's where I met Jesse Tyler Ferguson, plays Mitchell. Awesome, great guy. We just walked into the room together. We didn't like say, hi, how are you? He was already in there because he was auditioning with other people. I walked in, shook his hand, and off we went, and that was it. 2 days later, I had the part.
Wow. And, yeah, go ahead. Good job.
Don't clap. Yeah, it's fine.
He loves it.
You wanted that other guy to be Cam. I get it. Both times, just every day waiting for my letter of confetti. Like, what are you doing, Eric? Oh, I'm just waiting for my confetti from Ringling Brothers. And didn't get in. Made it very close the first year because it was a rolling acceptance program, and it came down to me and 4 others for 1 spot. And they called me and said, hey, you're still in the running. I'm like, well, I got to enroll in my last year of college. I need to know what I'm doing here. And then I didn't end up getting in, which, you know, I'm very thankful that I didn't get into Ringling Brothers at Barnum and Bailey Clown College, as much as I'm thankful that I'm not saying lights out every night. When do they turn the lights out in prison? I don't know, 10?
Yeah, about 10.
Yeah, 10.
What's your go-to balloon animal? Tough one, huh?
You know, the most impressive one I make is probably a parrot.
Sure.
You know, a lot of twisting, a lot of. Mom, stop wooing. No, I don't. A little bit of a cold.
A little something.
Yeah.
I want to ask you one thing that we're going to go to get some audience questions. But last thing I want to ask you about is an interesting thing because so much of this show is about, you know, Cam and Mitchell, as you mentioned, that relationship you guys have together on screen is so special. I remember a bunch of people wondering when's the kiss going to happen. You guys built a whole episode around that, built around Mitchell's sort of fear of PDA. What was really interesting is you built the episode around, but then when the kiss actually happened, it was like a blink and you miss moment. It was sort of in the background, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people took that not the way you're taking it, which was like they're trying to avoid it. But the story behind that from someone inside the family's perspective is we knew from middle of that season that they wanted to do an episode that addressed Mitchell's PDA issues. Around the same time that somebody started saying, why don't Mitch and Cam kiss? You know, this whole thing. Well, then we kind of have to be quiet about it. We can't really say anything because we know on the writer's board there's this episode coming that addresses that sort of thing. And I was worried people were going to be upset that I was straight and playing, you know, a gay character. And Jesse is an amazing guy, and he really helped me with that issue and really, you know, walked me through a lot of those things. But I just always felt that there's a tried and true process in Hollywood of how actors get parts. And make no mistake, a lot of gay guys auditioned for Cam, like, for sure. And a lot of straight guys did. And at the end of the day, they picked who they thought was the best actor for the role, and I'm just thankful that it was, me that they picked.
2 individual Emmy Awards later, they obviously picked the right guy. I mean, it worked out pretty well for all parties involved. And now, speaking of getting involved, let's get you guys involved.
I don't have formal training as an actor, but what I do have is the ability to observe and watch. And make no mistake, when I leave here tonight, I'll probably think about you and how I can use something that you've taught me here tonight. But that's my acting, and I said earlier that some of my mom is in cam with expressions and gestures and things like that, and the tonal quality of my voice. But once you build the character, the words really drive the character. So hopefully you'll see me in something else, and you'll think like, well, how did you do that? I just want to kind of immerse myself in different people. Thank you, though.
Hi, so...
Ooh, somebody got in trouble.
So I follow you on Instagram, and I
Thank
was
you.
just wondering... Oh, you're welcome. It's a great Instagram.
Thank
I was
you.
just wondering, what is your obsession with that Drake song? I love it. I think it's hilarious, but I had to ask.
Did everybody hear that? My Drake thing? Well, that really just started out on Instagram. If you follow me, I'm going to get some new followers tonight! If you follow me on Instagram, it's I do these little things, just mundane activities with the backdrop of this song from Drake, by Drake. And when I heard the song, I thought, like, wow, that's a really good song. And then, like, so many songs, they're just shoved down our throat, and it's like we have no choice but to all of a sudden be singing these lyrics to this song. And that was my statement on it. It was like, this song is going to be the backdrop of every freaking thing I do in life. And then it turns out I really, really like the song. So I just that's why I do it. It is disappointment, and it is true, and I'm okay with it, because my demeanor, while I'm an excitable, likable, fun, affable guy, I'm not Cam. And I have the brilliant writers of Modern Family to thank for, giving me these wonderful scenes that I get to play. And I could never live up to that. But when I meet people on the street, typically they always ask, not always, but a lot of questions I answer is this: are you okay? Are you sick? Like, no, I'm not sick, I'm just me, because they expect sort of this exuberant character. And that's not how I walk around in life. Like, I'm excitable. I love being here and, engaged. But when I'm walking down the street, I'm not like, doo, doo, doo. This guy. And it really works out when, like, I have to, like, go. Like, because, believe it or not, when you see an actor, like, someplace, sometimes we have to be someplace else. And people will be like, can I get a picture? And I'm like, I'm so sorry, I have to go. And it's not about like that picture, it's about if I stop, then that's gonna be 5 more minutes, and I don't like to say no to one person, let alone 25 people. And that really shocks people, because the moment I even remotely get prison guardy on them, then they're like, whoa, Jesus, man, okay. So that's sort of how I sort of shock people sometimes.
We have time for two. Like to go from being a working actor, paying your dues, to kind of like being an overnight celebrity.
Yeah.
And like it must be really great for, you don't have to worry about bills and your career, but was there anything that, like, was there like a feeling of loss, or like, or was it just awesome all over?
Well, listen, I have no complaints in the world, and I've told many, many people, if you hear me complaining about anything, honestly, just put a bullet in my head, because in the real world, I don't have any complaints. Having said that, everything's relative. Life is complex. Doesn't mean all of a sudden my life doesn't have complexity in it, and I don't have issues with friends or girlfriends or family or whatever it is. That doesn't change. But there is a sense of, feeling a little confident in what you said, in finances or in job. I mean, Modern Family was the first job I ever had in 13 years that lasted more than 8 days. I did a commercial campaign for Comcast years ago that was an 8-day shoot. That was the longest job I had in like 13 or 14 years, 12 or 13 years. So job security means so much. But fame, or whatever that is, that I don't wake up and think I'm famous. That doesn't, I don't think that. Fame is applied to me when I go out into the world and people are like, Cam, hey, so that never really, came into mind. But the first day I knew my life was different, I was with my friend Barrett, who's sitting right in the front row, and we went to Katsuya. It's a sushi restaurant in Studio City, California. I've been there hundreds of times, probably not hundreds, 60, maybe hundreds. Walked in, walked out, my whole life. And then one day, went to Katsuya, and it took us 5-10 minutes to get out of just saying hi to people. And I thought, like, okay, that's a new thing. But it's great. I mean, I don't. People are nice. Somebody today.
It's inescapable.
Thank you guys very much. Sorry I couldn't answer everyone's questions. I'm buying everyone iPhones.
Everybody join me one more time in making Eric Stonestreet.